Hello and welcome back to another Thoughts on Doctor Who. Today we are talking about Season 2, Episode 4, Lucky Day. At the end of last week's episode, I said that this week's episode looked like it might have Absorbaloff vibes in ways that I was concerned about. And you know what? I wasn't too far off the mark. Both Love and Monsters, that's the name of it. Both Love and Monsters and Lucky Day are Doctor Light episodes. Both of them focus on the perspective of being outside the Doctor's life looking in. Both of them deal with characters from previous episodes having human relationships despite the knowledge that they share about this larger universe. Both of them have elements of normal, ordinary people researching the Doctor and his life and having maybe met him at some point and in their childhood, and how that has affected their lives going forwards. The main difference between this episode and Love and Monsters is that this episode's actually good. Actually, I say that. Love and Monsters actually isn't that bad. Despite its absurdity, it's actually a decent bit of telly, if I remember right. It's been a minute. But the absurdity was what I was worried about returning, and for the most part, we skirted past that without too much trouble. It is always interesting to take a trip outside of the TARDIS and see the world from someone else's shoes, and it's always interesting catching up with a past companion and seeing how they're adjusting to life post-adventure. It was really nice to see Ruby again as well. I am happy to say that I was sus of our guy, tall, dark and handsome, the entire time, long before he showed his true colours. I think that this take on a villain like this, someone who is so absorbed in conspiracy and disbelief that they weaponize it in a frightening way and cause a lot of damage, I feel like that's a very realistic take on, you know, like a modern take on a human Doctor Who villain. In fact, you know what? This episode felt quite Torchwoody in a lot of ways as well. Especially when Kate Lethbridge-Stewart was talking about the repercussions, I've got to look up this dude's name, of Conrad's actions. I've got to be honest, I'm not entirely on the ball today. I do apologise. I'm not going to stretch this out into like a 10-20 minute video because I don't have a lot to say about this episode. I'm just going to get my thoughts out quickly and get out of your hair. Not because I didn't like it. I did quite like this episode. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Not the strongest 4 out of 5, but I don't do half stars. But it was just really nice to see everyone again. That's my main takeaway from this episode. It was nice to see Ruby again. It was nice to see Kate Lethbridge-Stewart again. It was nice to see Unit HQ again. It was just nice. And I actually, despite it potentially feeling a bit preachy, which, let's be honest, a lot of Doctor Who messaging is, no matter how much I agree with it, it's always quite overt and in your face, and maybe that's just a byproduct of the type of show that it is. We only linger on stories for 45 minutes at a time, so we don't really have too much time for subtlety. But I did really like the Doctor's appearance at the end of the episode. It was giving Rose Tyler, you upset my mum energy. Again, Absorbaloff. Absorbaloff episode. But Ncuti Gatwa channels anger and rage so well. I don't think we've had a Doctor channel anger and rage quite that well since David Tennant? Is it a crime to skip over Peter Capaldi when I say that? I guess I'm thinking more of like the cold, smouldering anger. No, Capaldi had that too. I need to rewatch Capaldi's era, because I was grumpy about Doctor Who back then, and I know I will love it if I go back and rewatch it. There's a future series of videos. But yeah, I liked it. Mrs. Flood obviously showed up at the end and called herself the governess. That's gonna get everyone, you know, typing up theories online. I'm going to head down to my local library and log in to the internet to post some fan theories about Anita Dobson online, everyone. The Governess sounds like a name for a Time Lord. Is this them trying to imply that she's some sort of Time Lord? Anyway, yeah, as I said, not a lot to say about this episode. It was good. Conrad's a dick. Kate Lethbridge-Stewart is queen, and I'm just happy we had this episode. It was fun. I will see you back here next week for next week's episode, and I will catch you then. Here's a blooper. Hello and welcome back. Fuck. Let me do that again. Oh my god, that was the worst intro I've ever done.